YouTube, blessings. I believe you're doing well. This is your Apostle Bongani Blacksmith. I have something that I want to share with you. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're still drinking water and you're resting as much as you can. Those of you who are not working, but please, drinking water you must. I hope you're just drinking plenty of water. So this is day 4 of 7. So I have something that I want to share with you. I want to share with you on how to get the most out of this year, like 2021. How to get the most out of 2021. So if you have intentions of making this year your year, a productive year, a year that you will look back to at the end of the year and feel like you have done something with the year, you have achieved something on the year, this video is for you, and it's very important that you pay attention. Okay, I think the first thing I want to say before we go anywhere is from the book of James chapter 1 verse 8, where James wrote, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You see, one of the things you want to do if you want to be productive, if you want to be fruitful, if you want to make progress, if you want to succeed in the things of the Spirit, you need to decide to become stable. You need to resolve to become a consistent person. See, a lot of people love God. A lot of believers love God. A lot of believers, they would love to see the blessing of God upon their lives, upon the things that they are doing. But if you can look at a lot of them, maybe if yourself, you can be honest with yourself and look at your own life, you can see how you have not been consistent. Let's say last year, the past 3 years, you have not been consistent in your life. You have touched a little there, you have touched here and there, and you have a tendency of not following through, especially when it comes to things like you fulfilling your prophetic destiny, like pursuing your calling, fulfilling your ministry, walking in your gift. People have a tendency, believers, they have a tendency of failing to be consistent. Like right now we are praying, right? But the question is, how many of you are going to be praying throughout the year? How many of you are going to maintain that lifestyle? How many of you are going to turn this not into a week, a 1 week thing of praying like we're doing now? But how many of you going into the year, maybe they're going to pick up a day and say, maybe Wednesday I'm fasting and praying, maybe Tuesday I'm fasting and praying? And how many of you are going to continue studying the word of the Lord? How many of you are going to continue and make prayer your lifestyle, part of your life? How many of you are going to maintain the zeal, the passion that with which now you're pushing and trying to see God in your life, trying to see the hand of God in your life? So, and here's what a lot of believers don't understand. Consistency is a voice in the realms of the Spirit. You see, the more you do something consistently, the more you do a certain practice consistently, you begin to invite the spirit of that dimension. You see, so meaning fasting just one time is not really going to produce much results. It's not going to help you. Praying just one time is not going to help you. Reading the Bible just one time, and then after that fasting is over, you go back to your normal life, of not reading the Bible, of becoming overly devoted to other things other than the things of God, then it's not going to get you anywhere. So you want to become consistent. You want to become stable. In other words, you need to know where you are going. You need to know the path you have taken, and then you need to stay with that path. So in other words, before we actually even talk about becoming consistent, we need to talk about, you need to know the path that God is calling you to walk, right? If God is calling you, for example, into the ministry, then you know that maybe you are beginning, God has called you, you just find out that God has called you. That means it's your preparatory and training season. It's your season of training and preparation. So you want to spend this year giving yourself to teachings, the teachings of your spiritual father or your mentor, and other related materials that are going to help you to be able to pursue your calling, that are going to be able to help you to be able to function in that gift of God in your life. So, and now you don't, because here's what's happening. Some people, for example, there are people who want to prophesy, but you are interested. Actually, it's not that you love the prophetic, because there's a difference between loving the prophetic and loving the idea of the prophetic. They are two different things. There are people who love the idea of the prophetic. How do you know that someone loves the idea of the prophetic and they don't love the prophetic? It's because they never follow through. Right? They can have some sudden interest, and maybe even talk about how they are called into the prophetic, but you don't see them making sacrifices. You don't see them walking the path. You don't see them following through. You don't see the consistency, following, making sure that they end up fulfilling the purpose of God. They end up walking into the gifts, that God has placed upon their lives. You see, so to get the most out of 2021, you need to know the path you are traveling. Right? What is it exactly that are you pursuing this year? Are you going to focus on school? Are you going to focus on maybe getting a job or maybe getting another job? Are you focusing on growing spiritually and in your gifting, understanding your calling so that you can begin to walk in your assignment? Like, which one are you doing? Because I've actually even watched some of you last year that you love God, you have a call, but you are not as devoted to the call like you are devoted to other things in your lives, right? I continue to receive people around the world as my sons, my daughters, students, my mentees, and even yesterday I received a few, and I was talking to one of them, and I was saying to him, my problem, I think now, is with a lot of believers that come to me that want to be mentored, to be fathered and stuff, is that they seem to love the idea of serving God, not really love serving God. Let me make an example. I'm sure some of you who are watching me right now, you might think you love music or you love keyboard. Let's say you love the piano. Right? You will hear someone saying, I love the piano, but they don't know how to play the piano. They can't even play one key on the piano, right? So the truth of the matter then will be, it's not that the person loves the piano. The truth of the matter will be, the person loves the idea of playing the piano. Because a person who loves the piano will have efforts. A person who loves the piano will make the necessary sacrifices. The person who loves the piano will develop the necessarily required discipline to be able to learn the piano. The person who loves the piano will put in the hours that are required to learn and master the piano. But the person who loves the idea of playing the piano, they will always talk about how they love the piano, but they never make any efforts. Right? Even if maybe they start playing the piano, they never follow through, because you are in love with the idea of playing the piano, not necessarily that you love the piano. Right? So the same thing right now, we have so many people that think they love the prophetic, but they don't necessarily love the prophetic. We have so many people that think they would love to serve God, but they don't really love to serve God, but they love the idea of serving God. Because if they loved serving God, you would see the sacrifices, you would see the efforts that they are going to put towards these things. I mean, just think of the consistency, the discipline, for example, that people put into maybe Stockfels. Let's say you're part of a Stockfel or social club and stuff, those with money stuffs, and every month you meet together and do stuffs. If you notice how consistently those people pick up, They become consistently and work that part throughout the year because they are waiting for their turn to get paid, right? Even if maybe this month their finances are not okay, they would do everything they can so that they can take out the money they're supposed to be taking out every month, so that when their turn comes, right? So the person is in this thing, and even if maybe they don't feel like it, even if maybe they are challenged, but they're in this thing, right? The same thing with people who love soccer, right? Or people who love sports. They will be into it, like the passion, you will see it. They will do anything just to become part of the whole thing, right? Then come translate all these things into the things of God. When you translate these things into the things of God, you find all kinds of excuses. Or if you don't find excuses, you just see people are pathetic, they're lazy, they're passive, right, about the things of God. But somehow they want to fulfill the call of God. So you're not going to get the most out of 2021 with those kind of habits, with those kind of tendencies. You're not going to get very far. So to get the most out of 2021, you need to establish the path that you're traveling, right? Which path are you traveling? There's a old English saying, if you don't know where you are going, any road can take you there, right? So you don't want to, because that's the definition of the meaning of being a double-minded man. A double-minded man meaning you have not made up your mind about where you are going, right? So one moment you travel this part, one moment you travel the other part. So then you become, unstable in all your ways. So because you don't really know exactly where you are going. So you want to establish that. That's what you want to establish. And I want to speak to those of you who have the call of God upon your life, and you see yourself ministering, you see yourself in ministry, you see yourself serving God in the future, right? You want to be in it like full force, like 100% be on it, right? Like invest into your calling, invest into your gift, right? Like beginning to mid-year to the end of the year, just give yourself to God, give yourself to the ministry, give yourself to training, give yourself to spiritual activities. Like put yourself in an environment that will help promote spiritual growth, that is going to help you to grow and become. Like how many people, like, they will love to prophesy, but you attend a church that's not prophetic, or the people that you hang out with, they are not prophetic, they are not able to hear from God. The materials that you read, maybe even things that you watch, they are not in the prophetic, you see. Because one of the things that is important to growing in the prophetic is you need to be in a prophetic atmosphere. You need a prophetic environment. You need people that will stimulate you and inspire you and set you on fire, like push you to that. People, you need a community, an environment that will force you, that will make you want to grow and come to new places in your growth, in your work with God, in the prophetic, so that you can fulfill your calling, right? So it's very important to decide your path. That's the first thing. Decide the path. Okay, don't be double-minded. Don't be here and there and there and there, and the one time you understand. There are people, like, for example, they are pursuing maybe business, and then they are pursuing ministry, and then they are pursuing something else. This is the same year. The person is trying to become all things. And I'm not saying it's not possible, of course, to achieve more than one thing, but I'm saying you must learn how to take one thing at a time and finish. Okay, if you're going to school, go to school. There's no need for you to want to be in the ministry and starting out in the ministry, but at the same time you want to be going to school. Right? It's not really going to work out. Jesus said you cannot serve two masters. You would respect one and despise the other. The same thing. If you, on one hand, you know that you're supposed to be maybe fully focused on school and schooling and studying and stuff, but at the same time, you want to be going out into the ministry, ministering and stuff, you're going to have complications. there somewhere on the along on the road, right? So and I'm trying to make one point. You have to choose a path that you want to travel and stay with that path, right? So number 2, become consistent. Become very consistent. Like, I cannot overemphasize this. Become consistent. You see, some of you, like, right, just as we have already started praying now and fasting and studying the word of the Lord, stay with it. Don't allow it to just become a one-time thing, right? Stay with it. Like, stay with it. If you stay with it, you're going to go very far, right? If you see how you start this year. If you just try to maintain this lifestyle of studying the word of the Lord, praying, occasionally doing some fastings until July, and see how far you're going to go, and see how strong you're going to become, because consistency is a very important thing. Okay, I think the last thing that I want to say is that establish your why, right? Don't just establish what is it that you want to do, but establish why you want to do that. You see, your power, the power to be productive, the power to finish, the power to bring things into manifestation is not with the how part, because everyone is trying to find out how. But do you know you can tell people how something is done, but at the end of the day they're not gonna do it, because the question is not how, the question is why. You see, if you have a strong why, if you have a valid why, if you have a why that can drive you, you will find out the how part. You will figure out the how part. You know the English saying, where there is a will, there's a way. So the same thing, but for you to have a strong will, you must establish your why part. So this is why some of us, we cannot bail out of this thing, because our why is that this is not something that maybe we chose and fell in love with. This is a calling. So you see, once you understand that this is a call, it's your duty to God, then your why is very strong, because the reason why you want to succeed at it is that you want to please the Lord. You want to hear him saying, well done, thou good and faithful servant, when you finally come face to face with the Lord. So establish your why. You want to start a company, why? Right? I know someone might say, I want to make money. That's obvious, but that's not a why. That's not a strong enough. That is not a strong enough. That is not a why that is strong enough for you to actually succeed and go face challenges and obstacles and go through them. So you need a stronger why, right, for you to be able to succeed. Maybe you want to prophesy. Why? You want to heal the sick. Why? Yeah. You want to build a church. Why? You want to build a ministry. Why? You want your eyes to be opened. You want to see in the realms of the spirit. Why? Right? You want to see angels. Why? You want to become a man, woman of revelation. Why? Right? You want to have influence. You want to become an influencer. Why? So you need to establish your why. So 1, establish your part. 2, you need to become very consistent. Like, consistency is the key. It's a very important thing. 3, establish your why of things. Okay? Because you see, there is nothing worthwhile in life that comes easy. See, anything worthwhile in life, it's going to be difficult. It's going to have learning curves. It's going to have its own challenges. So if you don't have a strong why, you're not going to last. See, there are people, for example, who came into the prophetic because they were watching all the popular prophets and they loved the idea of being the prophetic. Because the prophetic is shiny, it's glamorous. You know, the prophetic is attractive. Everyone looks at people moving in the prophetic and they all want it. But when the prophetic was now going through persecution, even some people who were prophesying stopped prophesying. Even some people who were like passionate in the prophetic, they began to take a step back in the prophetic because they were going through trouble. You see? But those who have been there, not for the fame, those who have been there not because they are attracted to shining things, those who have heard God and those who understood their why they were in the prophetic, they stayed with it. To date, they're still pushing it. So your why is a very important part of it all. You need to establish why. So I think these are the three things that you must remember. One is you need to find out your part, establish your part. I'm talking about getting the most out of 2021. Find your part. Two, become consistent, become stable. Okay, don't be jumping around. Right, today you want the prophetic, the next, then you're no longer in the prophetic. Now you want to be the teacher of the word. You want revelation and wisdom. Then you no longer want that anymore. You are now out. You are an evangelist. You're going to be winning souls. The next thing, no, you're no longer there. Actually, you're no longer actually even spiritually inclined or interested for the next coming 6 months or 3 weeks or 2 months. And then after that, you are back again. You are on fire again. Yeah, let's do this thing. Lord, the Lord called me. You're not gonna get away with that way. You must be consistent. You must be stable. Once you find your part, stay with it. Come the rain, come the heat, come the cold, come the winds. It doesn't matter. Whatever seasons, like all seasons must come, but you must remain consistent in what you believe God has called you to do, right? And to do that, the last point is that you need a very strong why. If you have a very strong why, nothing will take you out of your path, right? This is why Paul the Apostle says, or rather, if you look at his life, the beatings, the imprisonment, him being stoned, and all the trouble that he went through just to serve God, you wouldn't go through that if you don't have a strong why. You need a strong why. Okay? So take some time during this prayer and fasting and ask yourself, what's my part? What part am I really traveling? Don't just be walking with us. Don't just become part of a community, but you don't even have an idea. Because some people, for example, they can say the Blacksmith is my father. They can say this is my spiritual family, this is my spiritual tribe. You might not know what is our vision as a tribe. You might not know what's our mission as a tribe. You might not know what is our message as a tribe. You understand? And if you don't know those things, you just walking with the crowd. You just see people moving in a certain direction and they look like they know what they're doing, where they are going, so that you can also look like you know what you're doing and where you're going. Then you join the group and then you just walk with other people, but you just have no idea where we are going and what's going on, right? So remember, this English saying is very powerful. If you don't know where you are going, any road can lead you there. So to become consistent, you need to know exactly where you want to going so that you can know which path you're supposed to be taking. Okay, so that's very important. And then, of course, once you become stable, it will mean you have found a strong why, which is the last point. So thank you so much. I hope this is going to help you to reinforce, because what I'm trying to do with what I'm trying to accomplish with this video is to reinforce the sense of assignment, the sense of agents, the sense of seriousness of the hour, right? So that you don't carry yourself casually in such a serious season, wherein you are literally standing at the gates of destiny, and destiny is calling, and you must be on time, and you must respond promptly. Because like I said, 2021 is the year of the second chances, the year of the consolidation of power. So you don't want to mess your season. Okay, so be sure you watch this again, this video. This is going to be helping you greatly, and establish these three things. One, your part. Two, consistency. Three, your why. Okay, and you are going to get the most out of 2021. So may the Lord bless you. I'm going to be seeing you on another video. This is the Blacksmith. I'm signing out.